Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Penny. I'm a master esthetician in Portland, Oregon, and today we're going to discuss retinoids. I'm going to answer 5 really big questions that I get all the time, and we're going to start right now. First of all, what are retinoids? What you need to know is they're vitamin A derivatives. So just like we have vitamin C and we have vitamin B, we have vitamin A, and that is retinoids. Now we have 2 very distinct versions. We have the prescription, which is known as retin-a, tretinoin, retinoic acid, all the same thing. That's the prescription, and it is the active form of the vitamin A derivative. That means that when you put it on your skin, it's already ready to go. Your body recognizes it and puts it to work doing all these wonderful things. On the other side, we have over-the-counter non-prescription. For this video, we're going to talk about retinol and retinaldehyde. Now, those 2 are inactive, and when you apply them to your skin, your body has to do something with them to turn them into the active form. Now, retinol and retinaldehyde are not created equal. Retinol is the weakest of these 3 that we're talking about and requires 2 enzymatic conversions by your body for it to turn that retinol into what would be the prescription retinoic acid. Now, retinaldehyde is just 1 step below the active. It is 1 step below retin-a, and it requires 1 single enzymatic conversion by your body in order for it to become active, for it to become retinoic acid. So it's really, really important for you to know that retinol is actually not active, and it does require your body to do its job in order for it to work. Now, why should you use a retinoid? Retinoids can thicken your dermis, they can help promote collagen production, they can help with tone and texture, and they can help decrease unwanted pigment and be a pigment inhibitor. They can help with fine lines and wrinkles and with laxity. I mean, overall, they are the most studied, gold standard, only topical that actual doctors and dermatologists would say to you, yeah, that actually is an anti-aging potion you can put on your face and it might work for you. It's the only one that is truly studied forever, and there's pretty much agreement that it is an anti-ager and it's an anti-acne type of product. Okay, so that's why you would use it. Now, how do you start on something that is that potent? Because it is definitely true that retinoids are irritating. So my typical advice is I start out with telling people a pea size every 72 hours. And that can go on, you guys, for 2 months. And the whole idea is slow and steady wins the race. You want to slowly get your skin acclimated to this really intense vitamin. The other thing that's really important to know is there's a lag time between when you are using it and when you might get super irritated. So just know there's a few days. So if you decide just to go all in and use it every single night for a week, it might take you 3 to 5 days before your skin freaks out. So trust me on the every 72 hours and do that for quite a while. And then from there, you're going to bump up to every other night. And I tell some people that could go on for 6 months. The other thing that is very, very important for mitigating the irritation when you're starting out on a retinoid is that you apply it to dry skin. So you want to cleanse your skin with a pH balanced cleanser, and then you want to wait 20 or 30 minutes before you apply your retin-a. Super important, because if your skin is damp at all, it's actually, the porosity is there to take more of the vitamin in, and you are able to get a lot more irritated. Something else that you can also do to help with this when you're starting out is you can actually apply a moisturizer right after you cleanse your skin, still let your skin dry for 20 to 30 minutes, and then you apply your retin-a. Basically, you're giving yourself a little bit of a buffer so that you can kind of stave off some of that irritation. If you are not gonna start out on a prescription retinoid and you wanna go for over-the-counter, I highly recommend that you consider retinaldehyde. The reason for that is it is actually pretty potent, pretty close to retin-a. I mean, it's weaker than retin-a, but it's pretty dang close. And it only requires that 1 enzymatic conversion. So there's less of a chance that things go sideways. You're more likely to get all of the active benefits of vitamin A from retinaldehyde than you are from retinol. Another question that I get all the time is about what I can and cannot combine with retinoids. Now, here's the deal. For a really long time, it was thought that, or based off of a study or two, it was thought that retinol and retinaldehyde had to sit at a certain pH in order for the enzymes that need to change it into the active form in order for those to work. We know that that's not true, but I still kind of propose to you that understanding the pH scale and understanding where retinol and retinaldehyde might sit and where all the other things sit is still important. So I'm going to put a pH scale up on the screen right now. And what I want you to take in is that skin sits about 4.5 to 5.5-ish. And what was thought for a long time is that retinol and retinaldehyde needed to sit at about a 5 to 6 pH in order for that enzymatic process to work that is going to transform them into the active form of the vitamin. Now that enzymatic process definitely does have to happen. It does have to make retinol and retinaldehyde into the active form of the vitamin. Retinaldehyde, like we talked about, only one enzymatic conversion. Retinol needs 2. Other things like retinol propionate, which you're seeing all over the place in that A313, that one requires 3 conversions, 3 enzymatic conversions. Well, if you look below on this pH scale, you will see that AHAs and BHAs, they need to be under a 4 on the pH scale in order for them to work. Vitamin C, if it's L-ascorbic acid, it needs to be at a 2 to a 3.5 in order for it to work on your skin. And tetrahexyl decyl ascorbate, it needs to be under a 5 for it to work on your skin. So what I'm proposing to you is that we're not worried about what might happen to our retinol or retinaldehyde and how it's going to get transformed into the active form of the vitamin. It's fine. It's going to do that. What I would be more worried about is using any concoction with a pH of 5 to 6 right after I used a pH of 4, 5, 2 to 3.5. Any of those things that are down below it, you would render them less active. So you always want to kind of pay attention to the pH that you're putting on your skin, because you really can, alter the effectiveness of some of these really pH dependent ingredients. And that would be glycolic acid, lactic, malic, tartaric, salicylic, L-ascorbic acid, which is your timeless, your SkinCeuticals, that is your dermatology, your Maylove, the Glow Maker. Those products are definitely dependent on that 2 to 3.5 pH. And if you put that on and you follow it right up with anything that is a pH of 5 to 6, you're probably going to make your vitamin C work less well. You put on a glycolic acid that is a 3.5 and you then immediately put on anything that is a pH of 5 to 6 right along with it or right after it, probably going to make your glycolic acid work less well. So for that reason, I suggest keeping these things separate. A lot of people do like to use vitamin C and retinoids, and it's pretty impressive the results that you can get from combining vitamin A and vitamin C. I highly suggest to you though that you use a vitamin C. You wait at least half an hour before you use a retinoid if you really want to combine those 2 vitamins in the same part of your routine. I like to use my retinoids at night, and I like to use my AHA, BHAs, and my vitamin Cs in the morning. And the biggest thing, in my opinion, is irritation. So you definitely always just really want to watch for irritation and take that into consideration when you're layering lots of things on your face. Now, obviously, there's probably retinoids on the market that are formulated to work right alongside vitamin C, but that's when they have been chemically formulated and pH balanced in order to do that. The kind I'm talking about is, you're taking a couple different bottles and you're layering your own stuff at home. You might be making one or the other not work as well. How can you mitigate some of the irritating things? And typically that's redness and that is flaking. Now I have some product recommendations for you guys. Number one of my all-time favorite products, I've talked about it for a few years now, is a product called Clarista. Now, the funny thing about Clarista is it's actually an alkaline. It's way the other side of that pH scale, but it is a keratin solubilizer. So when you apply it, it's kind of like a really gentle jojoba ester biodegradable scrub, but very, very, very gentle. And it's in this retexturizing alkaline base. it kind of just dissolves the retin-a flakes. Now, because it is not a great idea to, repeatedly make your skin alkaline, I definitely think that you should follow that up with a very mild toner that will bring your skin pH back down to 4.5 to 5.5. Now, the other thing that you can definitely do is use enzymes. Enzymes also are able to kind of digest the dead bonds that are holding keratin together on your face. They can help to get rid of some of the flaking that goes on. And I absolutely still love the Theraderm Enzyme product. It's a fantastic enzyme mask, super, super gentle, and kind of perfect to use alongside retin-a. The last thing that I want to tell you to be really wary of is using too many harsh scrubs and too many high alpha hydroxy acids, especially if they're combined with a scrub. Yeah, you can scrub off the flakes, but you might be inviting a little bit too much irritation and inflammation. And if you've been here for any length of time, you know that prolonged inflammation is pro-aging. So you want to be really, really gentle with your skin. Probably the best thing that you can do is use an enzyme or use something like Clarista and then hydrate the heck out of your skin. Typically, people start to see some resolution to the flaking and the irritation after, 6 weeks to 2 months. Some people do take a little bit longer, but I'm telling you, if you start off slow and steady, you can win this race. The idea is to be on it for prolonged use. It goes on forever. Now, the last thing that I have to say is that when you are on any kind of a retinoid, you have to use sunscreen. I know that a lot of people think that that is just like duh, but I gotta tell you, there are people that don't use sunscreen. Some good friends of mine, I could kill them. And they use retinoids, and that's just dangerous for your skin. And it's really, really important that you wear a sunscreen so that you're not inviting more damage than it's worth, because it's definitely an irritating, sensitizing, photosensitizing type of vitamin. That said, you also always want to use this at night because the sun actually can inactivate that vitamin. So it's a nighttime use only, not daytime. I hope that this cleared up some of your questions. I hope it was helpful. Hope you guys are having a fantastic week, and I will talk to you in my next skincare video. Take care.